right, Little Rock, grab your coffee, get jacked up. It's time for another episode of The Block Talk. I'm Jamie Taylor here with Susan Erwin Prowse and Cliff Prowse. You two are some fantastic artists that are local to Arkansas and have been up to some really big things in our community. So thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having us. We are excited to be here, and we love everything that you do. So it's an honor to be here.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And we met in networking circles when you guys were first starting your festival, which is called Yadaloo.
Yes.
And I remember the first time you stood up in a room and said, "Hey, I'm Susan Erwin Prowse, and I'm here to represent Yadaloo. It's this new festival."
And everybody said, "What is Yadaloo? What does that mean?"
Yeah, and they were like, and I was in my head going like, that's a cool name. Like, where did that come from? And what is the festival about? And what is she about? She's so beautiful. And like, and you weren't there. And so I was just like, what is this sparkly, exciting, like, and then we got to meet you two. And so I just want to hear the whole story about how you guys got started, how you met and where you are and all of that. So.
All right. Yeah. Well, so Cliff and I met 4 years ago on the stage at Willie D's, a local River Market hotspot. And he plays guitar and fiddle, and I sing and play piano. And I got my start in the music industry 16 years ago there on that stage. So Willie D's is home for us. And we met. They would hire him to come in and play the changeovers, if you're familiar with the dueling piano format.
Oh, yeah.
So he would rock out on guitar and fiddle. And anyway, so we met there, and for obvious reasons got together for music at first. And then we fell in love, and we worked together. At that time, I was doing a show, and I still do. We do this show together now at Oaklawn Casino during race season. And at the time, I was working with a drummer, and it was just me with the piano and a drummer. And I added him to the show, and then it just kind of evolved and skyrocketed from there. So now we tour together internationally. So it's awesome for me to have found a partner in life to do what I do, but still be from Arkansas. So we travel the world, but we still have the roots of Arkansas, which is so near and dear to our heart. And families are here in Hot Springs and in North Little Rock. He grew up in North Little Rock.
Yeah, I did. I've been here pretty much my whole life.
So that's where the genesis of our relationship was. And then, Arkansas has been the common denominator for all of that too. So it's been good.
Yeah. So Cliff, what were you just like totally blindsided when you came to Willie D's and this beautiful girl is...
Yeah, so it's actually funny. The entertainment director there, Matt, he told us to get in touch with each other before. And it was kind of this back and forth, like... I think
really
she
connect.
messaged me, and I didn't know who she was.
And he did respond.
And so I did respond.
To get, I guess. Yeah.
I did respond like a week and a half later.
Yet.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I responded like a week and a half later.
And then I was like, whatever.
And then she never responded, and so we never got in touch with each other.
Cliff.
Right. And so we had the rehearsal and met the night of the rehearsal at Willie D's, and finally connected and hit it off. So
he had me at the solo of Purple Rain with the guitar, and then he pulled out the fiddle, and then I have to say he had me at fiddle, because if you've heard him play fiddle, he's just world class. It's amazing. Great guitar player, but all of it. I mean, his talent is amazing. So we'd love anybody to come check out our show, there at Oaklawn, and find our Cliff and Susan brand going on with all that. New music releasing. Our first single is going to release in April.
Yeah, April 3rd.
It's called Fiddle and Keys. So.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute. And fiddle is tough to play. I mean, it's like both of them are, first of all of it's hard to play. I did band for, in school, played clarinet, 12 or 13 years, but it was never like a artistic situation. Like artistic people are different. They handle it different. They can write music. And I'm always so enthralled to figure out how you come up with the words to a song, or how you write the music, or what inspires you to do that. And so musicians are super creative people.
Yeah,
so
I think
I'm
everybody
really excited to hear this.
Takes such a different approach to writing too. And some people write the music first, some people write the lyrics first, some people have no idea what a melody should sound like, but they're really good at writing lyrics, and so they meet someone else that's like, oh, this is how it should go. And it's like, so everybody's approach is so different.
There's no one right way to do it, I'd say.
Yeah, no.
Did you guys find with each other that you had, maybe he had some of the things that you were always looking for and vice versa musically, not
Absolutely.
just love-wise?
Definitely. Mainly organization of her chords when she is trying to set up a show. She's so disorganized, and she really needed me. to be there for.
He means chords like my cables. If you looked in the bag, I think she meant more about the songs. But yeah,
I took it like chords though in my head. I was like, wait, but she's pretty good at piano, Cliff.
He's very organized on the stage. I'm very organized in business. I'm more of the A-type personality, so I'm the more big personality. Although he's really come out of his shell on stage, and then his musicianship and his ability to make me a better musician, and his talent for just hearing, and he plays by ear. He's primarily self-taught in everything. I took 10 years of classical piano lessons, so I had that fundamental basis where I read the music, and then I taught myself later in my 20s to go, okay, I think, and I figured it out. So now I play by ear, but his natural ability. So it's a really good yin and yang, like a good fit together.
Yeah, she's got that musical theory background, and I'll play a chord, and I'm like, I have no idea what chord I'm playing right now, but it sounds good.
And it's this. Yeah. That's so exciting. So when you guys get together, at first you're just, obviously you're dating and you're doing the Willie D's things, which is so much fun. So I'm sure you've both sung to me on my birthday.
Yeah, at some point.
Yes,
if we remember.
I'm always the request person.
Yeah.
So I'm always up there with the request. So you guys have done all that. You're having fun. What takes it to the next level musically when you figure out like, hey, we've got something here. Let's join forces and tour together. Does the relationship happen first, or does the music just take you away? How does that happen?
I think it kind of happened in parallel, really.
Yeah, it just kind of flowed right along. We both kind of had the same goals with where we wanted to go with our music and our show, and it kind of evolved naturally from there.
I will say what I think is smart, that we waited for a couple years to play together and find our skin on stage together, find our sound, what really works, and then what we can reproduce in the studio to fit the brand. So my marketing of like, first of all, what do we sound like? Who's going to lead this song? Who's the lead vocal? The harmonies had to really start meshing. We didn't want to force that.
I never even sang really before.
No, he can't. Yeah. And so now he's fantastic. And so that's not only that, but from my fan base, because I'd been in the music industry doing my solo career
for a while.
So when we added that, so that was, people had to get used to that, and then we had to get used to each other. And so the sound and everything needed to be, I think, artistically organic and really real and true to resonate. That's something I believe in from any type of art. And so that's now come full circle, and we're really proud of what we're doing, what we're writing together, and how we're going to produce that, and what it sounds like in the studio, so it doesn't sound too far off of what you come and see us do, because we are a duo. We will have a full band eventually, that we tour with, but the duo works as a business. It's a great model because we're one household, 2 plane tickets, 1 hotel room, you know, so we can do that and still, fly around to these places all over the world that are primarily solo piano bars, but we're a duo in them, which is another. It's different than Willie D's because there's 2 pianos at Willie D's, but it's similar in that it's sing along and it's that crowd interactive all request show.
And it's so fun. But what's really cool too is like the guitar and the fiddle. They add so much to the piano, and I'm sure both vocals that it's just you can do so much between both of those because as opposed to like, isn't it just like chords?
Well, you mean for the keys? So the way, and yes, it is chords, it's singing, but a piano has left, right hand, it means bass and treble, and it's rhythmic, and then you can still do leads. So what is really awesome about a piano or a piano player is that you can replicate a full song pretty well, and you can hear all of the parts as long as you're playing them well enough to, take any song and do that on the piano. So that's kind of why piano bars work. But then when you add guitar, you get that guitar sound, and he has worked on his tones and everything to really like replicate all of the songs we cover. Fiddle is just an added little icing on the cake. But with what we do, I stack my left hand, so my left hand's playing a bass guitar sound. So I've got the bass guitar sound, so basically a bass guitar. And then I've got drum machine, that's the drummer. And then I've got my right hand playing the rhythm and sometimes lead on piano. So essentially we have a guitar, fiddle, 2 vocals, piano, bass guitar player, and a drummer.
You are a one family band.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So, and there's a time and place to do that show. When we want to do our originals and get out and start, opening up for other bands and doing bigger shows, we'll pull in the full band for the actual full band experience. But for what we do on the road, it's great. Like I don't need another ticket to fly my drummer out. I've got a drummer in a box, which, as long as it's used tastefully and what we do, it really works well. And people can check that out. We love to share how we do what we do with other duos and just solo acts and whatnot to have a bigger sound. But be 1 or 2 people. So
that's really exciting. And then, so after you guys build this relationship and now you're out and you're doing this music together, then you come up with this brilliant idea, which is to start a festival local to us. And I know there are festivals around Arkansas, which you completely shattered them all this past September. The actually coveted award for the best festival.
Well, it's the best new festival,
Yes.
so I want to pay.
Let's just go with best festival.
Well, I do have to give a major shout out. Toadsuck this year got best festival, and they've been for many years. But we got best new festival of the year, which is a super honor. And after going to the Arkansas Festival and Events Association, AFEA, the conference in Eureka Springs this past January, and meeting all of the people who are doing awesome things around this state with festivals and events, it's just it was amazing. So to have that kind of honor out of that, it was just wonderful.
And it was an organic effort. I mean, I would see you guys all the time at chambers, at networking groups, at events, just everywhere. You were everywhere. The flyers
that's
were
the
everywhere.
key to it.
Yeah, it was amazing to watch the effort and then
thank you.
see the product turn out. And so tell me about how this happens. How does Yadaloo become Yadaloo?
Well, so we've had the idea, in our industry doing events. We've been a part of many events, and obviously we have the experience musically in that background. But we really just wanted to bring something new to the community and do something really cool for North Little Rock. And we love the Argenta Arts District. It's always been just such a cool place. And so one of our dear friends and our production guy, who works with us on Yadaloo, Stan, we've known him
Jackson.
at Stan Jackson. He runs SJX Productions. So he had the idea to bring something to North Little Rock side, and so we started looking at this piece of land, and you can kind of get into how Yadaloo actually came about.
I think honestly, it's just that I feel like the timing was right for Central Arkansas to have a new fresh brand and something cool. We really focused on country and Americana, so we're staying genre specific. Subgenre of country being that Texas red dirt, more traditional sound, not so much mainstream country, which we really think, and it's been very successful in the markets around these states, in the southern states especially. So we chose that genre. We went that direction on the North Little Rock side because the aesthetic of the actual beautiful piece of land right over the river. You look at the Little Rock landscape across. The North Little Rock side has been so awesome to work with because they're growing, and they're like the Argenta district has got such cool things happening. But we're pushing it on both sides, because we're members of both chambers, and I'm working with the Downtown Little Rock Partnership now, and so we want to grow to both sides. I would say the reach is on both sides. But just honestly, to grow our business, because we make most of our money on the road right now. And so as a married couple, if we ever want to have a family, if we ever want to, we need to start growing our business back home. And so being an achiever and a go-getter, I'm like, okay, what is that thing that we can do?
How can I plant roots and still do what I love?
Yeah.
So our production company, Big Red Dog Productions, we've had that for almost 3 years now. And so we're producing other artists, developing other artists, showing them how to do what we do for a living as an independent artist. So we are giving back and sharing and growing other artists, like Bree Ogden is one that's doing awesome right now. And then under that umbrella of producing, he's an amazing producer, producing music, producing songs, albums for artists. We said and then the Stan Jackson relationship happened, and then it's like, okay, this feels right. Let's explore that opportunity. It just kind of organically grew into something. We're like, okay, what if we were to, what would we do? And then we're like, well, country music, we are country music. So, and then that happened, and then just talking with people like you. I mean, I sat down with you and I'd say, if I'm doing this, give me some advice on how to market this. And so honestly, the key ingredient is that we had an idea, but we reached out to people in the community and connected, built the relationships, because this kind of endeavor is all about community. It is all about leveraging the community and building something that we can all be proud of, and that maybe we hand over eventually one day that's just like a thing, that's really great. And that's something that I heard at the conference in Eureka, and it really resonated with me. It's like, it really is about community and about getting the teams together and the volunteers and working with the city and working with the military and working with, bringing arts up, uplifting local artists and giving them a platform while you're bringing in national acts. So all of that is kind of like, it just happened, and it felt right. And I think it was just, we're like the conduit to make this happen, and it's just taken off. So it's a daily thing. I mean, we work so hard every day. But it's fun. It's fun work. It's a little scary at times. Friends of ours said,
it's the work everyone dreams of, though.
Yeah. They say entrepreneurship, somebody said this the other day, entrepreneurship is like jumping out of the airplane and building a parachute on the way down. Yeah. That was what happened last year. It was like, okay, how do you do this? So.
But it came together, from the outside looking in. It came together from hearing you talk about it and seeing little pieces of things come together on social media, and then the flyers, and then watching it, kind of your confidence grow in the product as it went. Yes. And then day of just completely blows everybody's mind. It's bigger than you think it's going to be. It's more exciting. It's more fun. You're thinking you're going to have a good time, but then you have a great time, right. And I think what is really great is you're saying that it's building heritage in the community, and that's really what it is. Yes. It's giving you, do you remember when we went to Yadaloo back when we were, so many years ago? Yes. And it just creates that opportunity year over year for the community to gather together and have a good time and celebrate the arts.
Yes.
So I think that's wonderful. And it's funny when you mention working with both sides of the river too, is Argenta actually's name is always been Argenta. Yes. Before they changed the city to North Little Rock. So when they say Argenta Arts District, I'm always like, well, didn't you start out as Argenta? So I learned that on the trolley.
Yeah.
I did too.
If you go to Wikipedia,
ride. Everybody should take it.
Yeah. Everybody should. That's both sides. If you want to get on the streetcar, it's free, and you learn all the history on both sides.
Really cool.
Yeah. So that is another thing I do want. We want to really lift the history of North Little Rock and just Little Rock in general. And we're looking at doing an activation zone this year that's going to allow not just our area to tell their story, but maybe reach out to other CVBs and other parts of the state to be a part of it to tell the history of Arkansas. So we're working on something that may or may not. We'll find out if we can pull it off this year. But the vision is to basically really talk about the history of did you know that the Trail of Tears came through right there on that path right there? Yeah.
Louisiana Purchase is not far. I mean, there's a lot of different things that happened in Arkansas that people don't really have a lot of information about, and then you start learning it and you're like, this is incredible. Yeah. And so I think it's great that you're highlighting that about our state and giving us the opportunity as residents to learn more about our community in such a cool environment. But I have to ask, because I want to figure it out.
Yeah.
How did Yadaloo become the name?
We were sitting around, our friend Matthew Press, he's the one who introduced us. He is
I like this guy.
Yeah. So we were all sitting around saying, okay, what is sounds country? I'm from a marketing brain. I'm like, I don't want anything anybody's ever had, because I don't want to have to deal with trademarks or
it's so hard coming up with a name,
and I said, it needs to sound fun and it needs to sound country. And so we were saying y'all, Yadaloo.
Yodel.
I'm sorry, yodeling and y'all, Yadaloo. Just
eventually popped out.
Yeah.
Some
just like form of these words.
Yeah. So we were sitting around.
I think Bonnaroo. Like we kept talking about Bonnaroo and yodeling and y'all, and eventually
and there's Lollapalooza, there's Coachella, there's all these weird sounding.
But
names.
They're fun, and you don't forget them.
And I did not have a problem trademarking it, because it's like but I looked on every social media platform and there was no Yadaloo.
No,
so I was like,
and the brand is so cute. Like cool, but it's like it is. It's so cool. I love the lettering and I love the way it looks. So yellow's my favorite color. So I've been a fan from day one.
Yeah. So as soon as I was like, okay, and I went in and I created the logo on an app on my phone. I literally pulled it up and I said, this font. Okay, that, and within, I had a website, and I had it all, like in probably 48 hours. I was just like, boom, let's do it. So,
typing is an understatement for you, Susan.
To where but he keeps me grounded. That's when you asked the question about us and how he keeps me from just off in the crazy la land. So we really support each other in that regard. So, but that's how Yadaloo came along. And
that's so exciting. So what are the plans for, because I know this year is September 19th, so it's on a Saturday, and it's going to be a whole, is there more things going on this year than there were last year already? Because I'm sure it caught a lot of heat. Everybody was like, whoa, best new festival ever, before you got the award. And now you've got the award and you've got the ability to attract a lot more people. That's a lot of the reason too we're doing this on the show, is you've added value to our community, and we want to highlight that and show it and get our listeners to come to the festival if they weren't there last year and understand exactly what they're going to get as far as their experience goes. And so tell me some about the things you're going to be doing this year at the festival.
Sure. I talk a lot.
For one, we're going to be doubling the park. So we used half the park at North Shore Riverwalk, and we're exploring that other side of the park, and it's all a beautiful area, and we're going to have 2 stages. So we're working with a lot of people in the community just to bring a bigger aesthetic to everything, and the other stage is going to be a local stage, so we're going to have a lot more local artists. We had so many people reaching out, and every day reaching out.
Awesome. We basically doubled, so I think we had 7 spots. We crammed in as many artists as we could that first year. We had 7 bands, and that was a lot for a 2 to 9 slot. So this year we're doing 2 to 11,
right,
and we're going to have 14 opportunities.
Ooh.
So that's
going to be a good time.
Yeah. So and we're going to have. One of the things I learned at the AFEA conference is having activation zones and how to really make them cool and authentic and interactive. And so we had live art last year. We had a chainsaw artist doing chainsaw art. So we're going to keep some of those elements, but then build on that, and maybe some bigger aesthetics. We tried to have a hot air balloon last year, but the wind advisories, we couldn't get it up. So lesson learned on that deal.
No, even the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, they had that same problem this year. They had to fly them to the ground.
Yeah. So we're looking at maybe a Ferris wheel or something big. But we had I'm sorry.
I was just going to say a couple of those things that were great for us were the Kids Zone and the Dog Park. They were just a huge hit.
Yeah, the Dog Park's a big deal.
The Lehman Library really came through for us, and they did an amazing job with the Kids Zone and did some really interactive event or little activities for the kids.
And character sensory exhibits. The Painting with a Twist was a co-sponsor on that, and they had live paint, and the kids could do all of that. And then we had rodeo clowns with the stagecoach. We had a Velcro axe throw.
Mechanical bull.
And here's something I really want to focus on is that kids 12 and under are free. And our earliest bird ticket rate is $20 for an adult. So we're really trying to stay affordable. Those tickets do go up as you get closer to the date. But when you get in there with your kids, it's free.
Yep.
There might be a few things that you pay for, but when you pay for it, it's like you get a $15 canvas experience, and you take that. So it's a piece of art they take home, but it's not. We're not nickel and diming people when they come in the door to have fun. And I think this is a good problem to have. But parents are like, I couldn't get my kids away from the Kids Zone to go watch the music. So
that is a good problem to have.
That's a good problem to have. But so we're going to expand the footprint, 2 stages, and just build on the brand. One of the things that I really want to do, like I said, is uplift the history of the community, engage other cities around the state to come and be a part of it. And I think there's a creative way to do that. I'm working with some consultants from other festivals to help me do that. And then increase the number of arts and crafts. We had almost 60 arts and crafts vendors, and that does include the dog-related vendors as well. So I want to grow it all and make it overall. So we want to build maybe a big, huge, humongous boot that has the brand on it.
That would be
and
really
something
cool.
you can walk in and something.
If you're in humongous boot production,
yes, we need
that.
So I called UALR's art department today, and I said, hey, somebody call me. This is what I'm looking for. I didn't tell them the boot idea yet, but an art department could maybe help us pull that off. And so anything that we can engage local groups, and then military, we would like to have. There's such a military presence here in this area.
I mean, there's 2 Air Force bases, not even a few minutes from where the park is.
So I really want to find creative ways to help them come out and be a part of it, uplift them. And so all of that combined is just growing one of the things Stan said is don't try to get too big too fast. And so I really listened to that word of advice, and I think that's what has been the reason for our success is that we do listen to people who've done this. We don't try to go out and have crazy ideas without checking people who've done that, because we don't need to reinvent the wheel. Right. And so I think what we've basically gone over is we're growing it, but we're going to keep it like it was last year. And if we just do exactly what we did last year and have more people show up, we'll be
happy
cool.
too.
But
right.
So we're going to create more, but have fun and
hopefully
continue.
We'll have double the people.
Yeah, we had a little over 2,000 people there our first year, which I was proud about that.
Yeah, you should be, because there's a thing, something that I really feel, again, like it was a grassroots thing. It was definitely like, I know because I built a business in the city. So I totally understand when you're trying to get people to understand your view and you're trying to get people to buy into your dream, it takes a lot of hard work. And it's like what you talked about with entrepreneurship, which I've never even really associated that with the arts, which is crazy because you're probably thinking my entire life has been entrepreneur.
Well, I say artistpreneur. There's always creative ways to put preneur on something, but yeah, it's the same, really.
And that's the thing is I hadn't thought about that, but really what you've done is you've built a business out of something that is your passion, which is what entrepreneurship is all about. And then you've struggled through some of those hills that you have to climb to get to hey, we need awareness. We need people to be excited about this. And then we need them to show up on that day and be supportive. And I think what's exciting is to get that big of a piece of the community behind you quickly.
Right.
It's going to be amazing to see what you do this year.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see that.
We're excited. And I cannot say this happened because of the two of us. I mean, there were so many people who helped us, and they know who they are, but I mean, I would forget everybody to name them. But I mean, production, volunteers, our nonprofit is City Connections this year. Last year it was Habitat for Humanity. The vendors, friends who came in and had been part of other festivals who said, hey, don't forget to think about this. And so, I mean, I can't say thank you enough to the community and the people who helped us do this, and the sponsors.
I was about to say, from a sponsorship standpoint, I call the sunscreen this year because I just want to be able to, when you get the sunscreen when you come in, I'll provide the sunscreen.
Okay,
I mean, that's a great way to brand yourself, is to be a sponsor at a festival, because thousands of people are going to pick up your item. They need it, whether it's a water bottle or whatever. I would challenge our listeners too, if you're wanting to sponsor something, this is an excellent opportunity for you to get yourself out there.
I think to the sponsors who are maybe considering, this is a fun event, and we're creative people, if you can't tell. So let's creatively integrate that brand into our experience. If you're a dog related, or you've got something to do with dogs that's part of your brand, let's get creative. How do we integrate that into the dog park? Or kids, country music, if your demographic is close to ours, let's get creative with your brand and how we market it. We're very forward thinking, and we're spending a lot of money on social media, where I think is very important. So that kind of visibility from an advertising standpoint, we have our thumb on the pulse of that, and I think that's going to be added value we do radio and TV as well, and some print, but the social media, a lot of companies really like when you say, I'm going to guarantee a certain amount of impressions and reach, and so we have that in our sponsorship packages, as well as just getting creative. I think that's the main thing. Instead of just putting your name up on a website or a banner, let's do something cool that's going to be an experience for our demographic, to something outside of the box that they normally wouldn't do. So
just with our last presenting sponsor last year, which was Heritage
Agriculture of Arkansas.
And what we did with them, I mean, they brought out a 30-foot tractor, and we had tractors everywhere, and I mean, it was crazy. It looked like a tank,
Yeah, it was really cool.
That was one of the coolest things. I think kids loved it, seeing the huge tractors and everywhere. So just adding those different creative elements to just really get their brand out there, and that was a big takeaway for them.
You should get a bunch of tractors out there and have like a tractor competition, Like I've seen a guy do a rainbow with a tractor. Have you ever seen that, where they take both ends of the tractor and they put them on the ground and lift themselves up in the middle? You could have like a tractor stunt competition.
Yeah. Well, I did get off. I just talked to the monster truck guy. Monster trucks.
That would be super.
So I'm like, I'm out there.
Pressure's on, monster truck guy.
That, and then just
bring a tank out.
Yeah. Hey guys at the military. I think we're going to use this to get all of our sponsors.
Yes,
right? See, and I feel like that's the thing, is I'm already like, okay, well, let's do our thing. I want to be part of that, and I think that's what you love, is the whole community.
Yes, and something I thought about, like with real estate companies, or I mean, I know that hits home with you, but just like, how do you find an industry that's a little bit competitive, and maybe you have like a mini little parade float that goes through the festival that's like judged, and it's like putting, I don't know,
best line dance.
Yeah, or something. I mean, or a tractor, a parade that's pulled by tractors. Yeah. And then you have, or I don't know if we're ready for a parade yet, but we are trying to get fireworks to happen this year. We'll see if that sponsor comes along.
Well, I think this is going to be incredible. I can't wait to see this year and what it's evolved into. But what I think is really amazing about it is exactly what you wanted it to be. It's an organic thing that came out of a relationship where you guys both get to love each other and love your community and love what you do. And we want to be part of supporting that goal, to be at home and to build your roots and be able to stay here to make your money. And that's what Arkansas, I feel like, from the entrepreneurial standpoint, there are so many people in our community that are working together to try and get their dreams to come true, but that have the ability to rely on one another to make that happen.
And that's absolutely the sentiment. And I think the fundamental underlying goal of this whole thing is just to create something cool that everybody benefits from, and
in our own home.
And that's what's been so, I mean, like being a part of the chamber and how I met you at a B&I group, right? I mean, building those relationships, that's really the most fulfilling part, is watching other people succeed together and supporting each other and all the goals that we have. And so,
I'll never forget that when you first came in. Me, I was like, "What is this?"
And I was equally impressed with you. You were leading there. I was like, "I want to be her when I grow up."
Because the thing is, like, I do real estate. Like, there's a lot of people that do real estate, but there's not a lot of people who who create something you know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of things that people can do with their lives, but what you've done is you've managed to integrate the thing that you're most passionate about and build something that benefits the entire community. So definitely applaud you for that.
Well, thank you.
And I think it's funny too, because you guys get to do this together. And so my biggest question is, in the back of my mind, it keeps like, shut up, Jamie, don't ask them this.
No, do it. Ask me.
So you're like so busy and you're doing this festival and you're building it. Day comes, you have a million things going on and people you have to check in with. How do you concentrate on performing?
Do you want to know what I did?
It just happened.
I do.
It's like autopilot. I don't even know.
Well, here's what happened.
She's like, literally, for you. I was.
Well, no. So we've been music comes second nature to us. So, and we perform over 200 dates a year. So like I can just go like this and be like, oh, here I am, in the stage or whatever. So I can switch that pretty easily now for myself. But we were putting out fires, walkie-talkies in my ear. I was a sweaty mess. I got a sunburn that day. My hair was in a ponytail. I did not care what I looked like, right? I'm running around crazy. And they're like, 5 minutes, Susan, you got to be on stage. And I'm like, okay. So I take my walkie-talkie off. I put it in my back pocket. I take my hair down and I fluff it. And people watch me do this. I fluff my hair and I'm like, all right, here we go. And I go on stage and we do it. And we're like singing Devil Went Down to Georgia and like the whole thing. And we had fun. But I just had to switch the switch. And then I went back to putting more fires out.
My face hurts from smiling about this because I just think that's so, and it's amazing because you would think that would be stressful, but you, like you said, not only you trained for it musically, but the entrepreneurship that over all these years you've been building what you wanted to build, and now it's autopilot. I can do it. I mean, same for you, right? I guess.
And it's really it's just a zone that you go into. It's like when you get on stage, you're like, oh my gosh, I got to do this right now. But then when you start doing it, you kind of forget about everything else. We had that was our break. That was our little short little break. Yeah. And then just right back to it.
Yeah. And I can't say enough about the production team and the stage manager and the sound and all of our crew.
Thank goodness someone told
everything
you 5
went
minutes.
off with such a hit.
We had 2 more. You might be in
just
trouble.
Everything they did to provide such a quality experience. I mean, it was that was the key to being able to pull that experience off, to have all of the, from the people who brought the porta potties to the people who were on stage introducing the bands and everybody behind the scenes, volunteers, all of it. I mean, that was crazy. And so I've learned so much, and to say thank you is not enough. Like, I have to say thank you over and over again to those people.
Well, that, and they're going to come out and listen to your music, which is their payment in full. They get the opportunity to be fans and hear you guys at home. And so I would encourage all of our listeners to get behind you and your music page, and also come to the festival, but to really help support this community and what you are doing for the community, so that we can all enjoy the arts. Because like another thing you said, that's what the Arts District is really cool, but there's even Art Night on Riverwalk. There's so many things that relate to the arts in Arkansas, and I feel like you're giving them an opportunity to be even further exposed. And that's really important, because anymore too, like with my son, he's really into sports and he does these things for school, but he doesn't, the artistic outlet, he hasn't found it yet. And I think when you give kids an opportunity to see that and listen to it, and maybe I want to play the fiddle, maybe I want to play the piano, maybe I want to paint, they're at this opportunity where they're going to get to go towards what they're attracted to and build their interests from there. So I think even from just, of course I'm pregnant right now, so I'm thinking of children, but that's
we recently went out to Jacksonville Elementary and we played for them just to inspire, because we want those kids to be inspired in the arts, and I think that's so critical. I mean, it teaches them so much. So.
And it's a huge, and totally different subject, but it's a whole stress relief kind of thing. It's a whole mental, you get this outlet artistically to handle your feelings and to express your emotions and be who you are in this outlet that you don't get in your everyday. I don't get to express myself all the time when I'm selling a house. But
so it can be a hobby or a career, and there's science behind. I mean, it improves math and science scores to have music in your life, and so I mean, it's really near and dear to my heart. But another thing I want to make sure that
exception on that.
I was gonna say, when I was playing music, I didn't learn more. I probably know more about music than math. But that's because one's way more fun than the other. But what were you gonna say?
Well, I just want to, one of the things I want people to know is that Yadaloo is the hat we wear, but it's not just about Yadaloo. It's about supporting other other events in the community and working to uplift each other, and like working with the Art Walk in North Little Rock in the Argenta district. And if we can ever help anyone with music related events and programming, we want to help out. I wish there was 8 of me and I'd come to everybody's event all the time and we would be there. And sometimes it's a challenge to always be in everywhere at the same time. But like Soma has a great thing going on with their music group, the South on Main area, and then you've got all of River Market, and we've got so many businesses coming in and events. And I feel like I learn about a new event all the time, and I'm like, oh, I got to go to that, I got to go to this, but then I can't be at everything all the time. So we just want to continue to grow that support across all avenues here in Central Arkansas. So
well, I'm super proud of you and for you. Watching you guys build this over time has been incredibly impressive to watch, and to combine the entrepreneurial skills with the musical talent, and then give us something that we can have every year to look forward to. It's like our mini Coachella. People do talk about this big, massive festival. I like the idea of it being local. I like the idea of it being built off of a community. Yes, people could come in from out of town, but this is our turf. So I really like that you're doing it here and for the community that you love. Yeah. So before we get going, I want to make sure that we get your website out and the information where if somebody's interested in being a sponsor, finding more about Yadaloo, the kind of one-stop shop, where could somebody go to find out more information or to get involved?
The website, yadaloo.com. That's YADALOO.com.
You've said that a few times.
Yes. Yadaloo.com. And if you even if you misspell it on Google, I'm sure we'll come up. So yadaloo.com, and you can sign up for our mailing list. And if you want to join us as a volunteer, if you're a arts and crafts vendor, an artist, a band, if you're a food vendor, all of that can be found on our website. You can sign up. There's all of the forms there. You can reach out to me personally. You'll find all of my contact information at yadaloo.com, and all the socials. We're Yadaloo Fest everywhere. So we're present everywhere, and we love to hear your feedback and get involved with you. So just find us there.
Yeah, I even got to hear more about TikTok, which I don't know anything about, but you taught me about it.
Yes, so TikTok. We're about to try to make a little bit of a splash with Yadaloo on TikTok, but we just joined as Cliff and Susan right now on TikTok, so we're there. We were talking about our chocolate cutting video that had 1.3 million views, which blew our mind. That was our Christmas pastime, was TikTok, learning about it. So that's another podcast for another day.
An entrepreneur's life. Dad, remember that Christmas that we did this for social media?
Yeah,
that's funny.
But we were talking about how they're actually starting to can't say the word, distribute music for independent artists onto TikTok, so you can actually monetize now. So that's kind of cool.
Which I think that's really important. And just like I said, I mean, it kind of is going to age me a little bit, but I remember way back in the day when MySpace was the thing, right? And I remember seeing a musical artist who was playing Guitar by a Fire, and I thought, oh, she's cool. Next thing I know, she's Taylor Swift, and she's everybody knows who she is. And I'm like, you put your music out on the internet with a guitar, and now you guys are able similarly to build your brand and build who you are and get expose your brand and your music. And I'm just excited for everyone to hear.
And social media helped us paint the picture of what Yadaloo was. I was going out and going, okay, I've got this idea in my brain. How do I paint that picture? How do I go and license the right Adobe stock image to say I'm going to have kids with face paint there? What is that going to look like? 'Cause until you have now I've got the video and the photos, but until then but social media was how we painted the picture and the idea of it all, and then just said, okay, this is what's going to happen. And then, like you said, then it happened. Then people were like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And now we know where to go on September 19th to have a good time with our families, kids, and dogs.
Yes. Tickets most likely will go on sale at the 1st of June. We're working through contracts right now and everything to get the announcement of the lineup. And then our earliest bird ticket will be $20. So we feel like we're super affordable and a really fun experience for a September fall festival.
I'm so excited for you guys. I can't wait to see you out there. And I'm super thankful. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you. Anything we can ever do.
No, thank you guys. Well, serenade me, that's for sure.
We'll do that with a piano and guitar in hand.
For sure. Well, thank you guys for coming on the show. We appreciate you, and we will see you at the festival.
Thank you.
All right, Little Rock, we're out. Thanks for listening to the Little Rock Block Talk podcast. If you're interested in hearing more, make sure to like, subscribe, and follow our page. If you're also interested in sponsoring an episode, reach out to us on Facebook.